Hello all, this is me Arpita Pal, your educator, and I am here with another lesson in the course in which we are revising the most important topics of spectrum, that is modern Indian history, and it is basically a revision series. So I hope you have gone through the lessons previously as well, so that it will be easier for you to revise here. In this lesson, we will be discussing about the revolt of 1857, what were the causes which led to the revolt, why did the revolt fail, or was it a failure or was it a success, what were the various or who were the various leaders of the revolt. Everything will be discussed in this lesson. But before beginning, I have an important announcement for you all. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel Arpita Sharma Classes if you want to have the daily Hindu news analysis and analysis of important international organizations, polity classes, economics MCQ series and what not. You can press the bell icon and never miss an update. Also, Arpita Sharma ma'am is taking live plus courses on Unacademy Plus platform, so you can use the code SHARMA20 to get 10% discount and reap the benefits. So let's begin. So firstly, we will be discussing about the causes that led to the revolt of 1857. Okay, now the revolt of 1857 though was initially an uprising, but what were the causes that led to the revolt? We will be discussing the same. Firstly, the fundamental causes and also the immediate cause. Fundamental causes include political causes, economic causes, or socio-cultural cause, military causes, and an influence of the outside events. This was also one of the reasons. Then the immediate cause was the introduction of Enfield rifles. Now, how can an introduction of a rifle lead to a revolt? We will be discussing the same in this lesson. Firstly, the political causes. Now, policies like subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, etc. were one of the main reasons which led to the revolt of 1857. You must have gone through the policy like the subsidiary alliance, in which the territory of the king was annexed, or in which the king or the native king or the ruler was asked to pay a hefty sum to maintain an army of the British government or to maintain a British army at the expense of the Indian ruler. So suppose if I want to be protected, then instead of keeping my own army, I will have to keep the British army and I will have to pay for it. So I will have to pay for my own protection to the rulers or to the British government. And in case I am unable to pay that rent or pay the required or pay the asked amount, then my territory would be annexed. This was the policy of subsidiary alliance. Also, the policy of doctrine of lapse was that the Britishers did not recognize the adopted child of Indian king, or if an Indian king died without a natural heir, then his territory or his or her territory was annexed, which was also the case with Jhansi. Okay, so Jhansi was about to be annexed in the similar way, though Rani Lakshmibai did not accept this and she said, मैं अपनी झांसी नहीं दूंगी, because the doctrine of lapse policy was imposed upon Jhansi as well, because the king of Jhansi died without a natural heir, and hence the British government did not accept the adopted son of the king as the ruler of the Jhansi. So this was the policy which caused or which led to resentment amongst Indian people, and hence was one of the major reasons for the revolt of 1857. Then, due to these policies or by using these policies, the native states were almost becoming extinct, because one after the other the states were being annexed and hence they were becoming extinct. Thus, this also led to the resentment of Indian people. Then, ill treatment of Bahadur Shah too. Now see, Indian people were very much loyal and respectful towards the Mughal emperors, and hence when they realized that Britishers are ill treating Bahadur Shah too, this did not appease them or this did not please them. Hence the Indian people rose against the British government. Economic causes like the land revenue settlement, various policies in which the zamindars were the middlemen and used to collect heavy taxes from peasants, were not liked by the peasants, because this basically exploited the peasants as well. On the other hand, when the zamindar himself was unable to pay the required rent, then his or a particular amount, he was not unable to collect a particular amount from the peasants or from a village, his territory was also annexed, or his territory was also taken away from him. Hence the zamindars also arose against the British, because ultimately the zamindar was also annexed, who himself was ultimately the zamindar was also exploited, who himself was exploiting the peasants. Also there was corruption. The Britishers were not or the British government were not at all very much loyal to the Indian people. They used to have corrupt practices in their own administration, which was not liked by Indians. Indians, when employed in bureaucracy or any other service of the British government, were paid very less in comparison to their foreign counterparts. Hence this also annoyed Indians. Then the breaking up of traditional handicraft workers. This was basically due to the unilateral free trade policy. The unilateral free trade policy meant that only the Britishers or the British government or the East India Company was asked to or was allowed to have a free trade, whereas the Indian handicraft workers had to pay heavy amount of taxes. Thus, this led to the breaking of traditional handicraft workers in India. Thus, every point here led to the resentment of the Indian people. Thus, it led Indian people to revolt against the British government. Then the socio-cultural causes, like the racist policies. Britishers were very much racist against Indians. They did not treat them equally they did not treat them at par with everyone. Hence, the racist policies were one of the reasons. Then Lexie Loki Act. Lexie Loki Act was also known as the Religious Disabilities Act. The Religious Disabilities Act. So this act, according to this act, see, earlier when an Indian used to convert his religion from one or used to convert from Hinduism or Islam to Christianity, then his father to Christianity, then he was disowned from his own property, okay, or paternal property. So suppose if a person has changed his religion to Christianity, then he was not allowed to have his property or inherit his father's property. Thus, this was seen by Britishers as not very much good, because they wanted to promote Christianity in India. Hence, they brought up the Lexie Loki Act. According to this act, if an Indian wanted to convert to Christianity, and if he does it, then he won't be or he could have now or he was allowed to inherit his father's property, and his father or his parent could not disown him from their own property. So this was the Lexie Loki Act. Then the Britishers also interfered in Indian customs and practices. We have already discussed it, that banning of sati, child marriage and female infanticide were not seen as very good actions by Indians, and hence they did not like it. Also, Britishers promoted widow remarriage. Now, these all were very good acts of the Britishers, but as per the Indian society at that time, Indian society was quite orthodox, and hence Indian people did not like it that the Britishers were interfering in their own customs, and hence they are allowing widow remarriage and banning child marriage and sati and female infanticide. Hence, they were treated as interference in our own customs. Also, the Britishers wanted to spread Christianity. Thus, religious interference was also there, which also resulted into the resentment of Indian people. Then military causes, like religious interference. Suppose if a Hindu Indian, or if a Indian who is Hindu by religion has joined British army, then he was not allowed to keep or to bear religious marks or religious or could not follow religious customs of his own religion. Also, a Muslim was not allowed to keep beard. So this was basically an interference into the religious sphere of Indians. Also, Indians were paid very low salary in comparison to their foreign officers, and were also not promoted to higher ranks. When Indian soldiers were asked to stay away or serve away from home, they were not paid any bhatta. See, bhatta is basically a sort of allowance that is paid to a soldier in case he is transferred to a far off place. For example, if Indian soldier in the Indian Defence Services are also placed at far off locations or difficult terrains like Ladakh and Siachen, they are paid a particular allowance, hence so that they can fulfill their needs by that allowance as well. Similar allowance is also paid to foreign service officers, Indian foreign service officers. But in case of the British government, in case of the English government, if Indians were transferred from a particular place to a very far off place or very far away from home, they were not given any bhatta. Hence, this also resulted in the resentment of Indians. Soldiers soon realized that they were peasants in uniform, because when they used to come back to their own village, they realized that okay, the peasants are exploited much more than us. So we are nothing than a peasant in uniform. We are just wearing the uniform and we are just serving the British army or the British government. Nothing much or nothing less. We are also exploited in the same way. Ultimately, we have to do this farming and all, and also get exploited by the Britishers in our village as well. So they soon realized it and hence moved against the British government. Also, the influence of outside events like the Afghan war or the Anglo-Sikh wars, Crimean wars, all this show or all this resulted in the humiliation of the Britishers as well at international front. See, in Afghan wars also the Britishers were humiliated. In Santhal rebellion, we have already discussed in last lecture Sidhu and Kanu. Though the uprising was suppressed, but at the end they had to allow tribals of their, or they had to give tribals their land back. The Indians realized that okay, if these people or if the tribals or if Afghans can stand against the British and fight against them, then why can't we? We must also fight against the Britishers, and hence we can also have a chance of winning against them. This also basically encouraged Indians to have a revolt. Now, before understanding the course of the revolt, we will also have to discuss an important immediate cause, that is the introduction of Enfield rifles. Now see, the British government introduced Enfield rifles in the army, in the British army, but a rumor soon spread that the rifle were greased with cow and pig fat. And during that time, basically these rifles were used to or could be opened only by using your mouth. So Indians realized that okay, this is a direct attack on their religion, and their religious sentiments were hurt, religious feelings got hurt, because see, cow is pious to Hindus as well, and also Muslims in Muslim religion also. Pig is not considered, or pig is also pious. So what they realize that okay, if we are actually using a cartridge or a rifle which is greased with cow and pig fat, it is working against our religion and it is a direct attack on our religion. So it basically united Hindus and Muslims, and on the other hand it led to the revolt of 1857, because it was an immediate cause. The earlier causes happened gradually, or the earlier reasons accumulated gradually, but this was the immediate cause, because Indians, if anything comes to the religion of Indians, or anything comes at the cost of religion of Indians in India, you just cannot ignore it, because religion is a very important thing in India, and hence you cannot touch it. So Britishers, or the introduction of Enfield rifles was considered a direct attack onto the religions, or onto the religion of Indians, be it Hindus or Muslims or any other religion residing in India, or any other religion surviving in India. Hence this led to the revolt of 1857 and was the immediate cause of the revolt, because see, they did not want to chew it and open it with their mouth, because it was greased with cow and pig fat, which was against the religious sentiments of Hindus and Muslims both. Thus this led to the revolt of 1857. Then how did the revolt take place? It began in Meerut on 10th May 1857. See, before Meerut as well, smaller revolts or the uprising gradually took place as well. In February 1857, for example, soldiers stood against the British government, and also Mangal Pandey killed a British officer and hence was hanged. So the fire had broken out earlier as well, but it almost was organized on 10th May. So if you are asked when did the revolt begin, you will have to write 10th May. So on 10th May 1857 at Meerut, the revolt began, and it began by Indian soldiers killing a British officers, then then they marched towards Delhi from Meerut and proclaimed Bahadur Shah Zafar as the leader of the revolt. So see, I already told you the Indians used to be very respectful towards Mughal emperors, towards Mughals, and hence they proclaimed Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor, as the leader of the revolt. Also, many people led the revolt at different places, such as at Kanpur it was led by Nana Sahib, at Jhansi by Rani Lakshmi Bai against the policy of doctrine of lapse, at Awadh Kumar Singh, who was also a zamindar, Faizabad Maulvi Ahmadullah, at Bareilly by Khan Bahadur, at Lucknow by Begum Hazrat Mahal. So they all led the revolt at different places. Now, what are the reasons which led to the failure of the revolt? What led to the failure of the revolt? Firstly, lack of mass participation. See, mass did not participate, or most of the people remained loyal to the British government only. See, the princely states, not all the princely states participate. Okay, the South Indian states, they did not participate, or they did not participate as a whole. Hence, it was not a mass participation. It remained confined to a particular region, to few people, and hence it lacked mass participation. Thus, was not able to reach its desired goal. Also, limited territorial base. See, if we talk about the territorial base, then the revolt remained confined to the eastern or northern part of India. It did not reach towards south, west, or any other part of India. Hence, if you want to have a nationwide revolt, then the whole nation gets to get involved, which did not happen in revolt of 1857. Thus, the revolt led to a failure. Also, lack of resources. Indians fought with obsolete weapons. They did not have modern technology, did not have access to modern technology, whereas Britishers were very much modernized in their weapons, and the armory they used, everything was quite modern. Hence, we lacked resources. Thus, the revolt failed. Then the lack of discipline in Indian soldiers. Now, see, as we have already seen that Indian soldiers, okay, they killed the British officers and they marched towards Delhi from Meerut, but there was lack of discipline. There was lack of planning. They did not plan everything. They did not ask, okay, if a cantonment is coming, or if a group of soldiers is coming from Agra, where will they reach? What will be the next plan? What will be the next issue that will be addressed? Nothing was there. So, Indian soldiers or Indians lacked discipline, and hence this led to a failure. Whereas the British army was very much disciplined, hence they were able to suppress the revolt easily. It was an aimless revolution. See, everybody was fighting for their own aim. Zamindars were fighting because their land was annexed. Soldiers were fighting because they were asked to use grease cartridges. The kings or the peasants were annexed because they were exploited. Hence, there was not a common goal. They did not have the goal of freedom. They did not want to be free from Britishers. They just wanted to, they did not want that, okay, Britishers should go and we should have freedom and we should have democracy. No, democracy was nowhere there. They wanted that, okay, Britishers should not rule us and we will be moving again towards the Mughal Empire, or we will be again moving under the Mughal Empire. The Mughal Emperor will be governing us. So, this was basically an aimless revolution. They did not have a single focus, or they did not have a single-minded focus. They did not have a single goal. Hence, this led to the failure of the revolt of 1857. Also, one more reason can be added here, that the Indians had it was basically a leaderless revolt, because if you say Bahadur Shah Zafar was already quite old, he was a 60-70-year-old man, he was unable to lead the revolt. Okay, he was just basically a puppet, or puppet would be a wrong word, but he was just he was just made the leader for face saving. So he was not a leader in true sense. Hence, it was also known as a leaderless revolt. So these were the reasons that led to the failure of the revolt of 1857. But there was one impact that the revolt resulted in one very important act, which was the Government of India Act of 1858, which transferred the power from East India Company to the British Crown. So all the powers were now transferred to the British Crown. The Board of Control and the Court of Directors was replaced by the Secretary of State. The Board of Control and Court of Directors were two bodies which were now abolished and were replaced by Secretary of State. There was an open competition for Indian civil services which was started, though it took time for it to be open to everybody, and age limit and everything that we will discuss in other acts of the British government. Then no more territories were annexed now. From now on, the territories or the annexation of territories was banned, and the lands of the zamindars were reinstated. So if you see that even after independence, or even after the announcement of independence, the princes or the zamindars that remained loyal to the British government were these zamindars only, whose lands were reinstated. So this was the impact, or the most important impact, of the revolt of 1857. So I hope you have understood that whatever we have discussed, and in case you have any query, you can mention it in the comment section. I'll try and answer that. Thank you.